Weather Center AM, this morning and every morning.
In the next half hour, Weather Center PM, a comprehensive national forecast. At 40 after, Weather Center PM continues with highway and air travel conditions. Then the weekend outlook. And at 50 after, Storm Watch. But right now, it's your local forecast on the Weather Channel. Tragedy strikes northern Georgia as a tornado destroys homes as well as families. We'll have the story for that region plus the entire nation coming up on this edition of Weather Center.
Glad you could join us for this edition of Weather Center. A deadly tornado left a path of destruction in Hall County, Georgia early this morning, and that leads our look at the nation. I'm Warren Madden.
And I'm Kim Perez. The Northeast braces again for more weekend snow. And we'll have the full details in your forecast a bit later. But we begin with the tornado in Georgia. These were the scenes this afternoon from Hall County in rural northeast Georgia. The tornado hit around 6:20 a.m. 12 people died in Hall County, 2 in White County, and more than 80 were injured in the region. The tornado damaged not only homes, but schools and farms as well. Governor Zell Miller declared a state of emergency for many areas. Strong storms hit the outskirts of Raleigh, North Carolina. Officials in the town of Garner say homes and trees were damaged late today. In addition, a church steeple was crushed and more than 8,000 people are without power tonight. Well, the storm that brought all that severe weather is getting close to moving off the coast, and we say good, finally. But we still have a couple of severe weather warnings out there tonight we'll talk about in a second. But north of our warm front, we are getting numerous reports of flash flood warnings out. Now into Pennsylvania, but we have a lot of warnings out in West Virginia and into Virginia tonight, especially in the mountain areas. We're seeing flood warnings out there tonight, so just so you're aware of that. On the northern end of it is snowfall. We'll talk about that too, but let's get the severe weather going here, and it looks like, well, for much of eastern Virginia anyway, probably from here westward we can probably cut it back because the front is pretty much through that area. And we've also let this tornado watch expire. So that is good news. Most of the warnings that are coming out now are severe thunderstorm warnings, not tornado warnings. We've had many reports around Raleigh-Durham today of tornadoes, even a couple of fatalities in Rockingham. So here are the cells again getting ready to come through the Outer Banks. As a matter of fact, with this line right here, Washington and Terrell counties under severe thunderstorm warnings at this time. Folks in Elizabeth City, even in Norfolk, should be paying attention to this line and be ready to seek shelter because you don't want to be outside in these storms here. Stay in and take cover. Around it is our upper level low, or off to the west, where we have a lot of moisture wrapping in around it. That's where we're seeing the snowfall tonight and some sleet and freezing rain. A nasty night tonight to be out in Detroit. Actually, it's changed over to all snow. But just east of you, and looks like maybe around Syracuse, we have a little mix of sleet and snow in there tonight. But for Pennsylvania, we have a lot of warm air advection going on. Temperatures are holding in the 40s or so. We are seeing mostly all rainfall, as in Cincinnati, where we had some rainfall today. Not just rain, but some very gusty winds this morning, enough to cause a lot of problems out there for the morning rush hour. We had winds gusting over 40 miles per hour. Folks in Western Hills and Montfort Heights definitely woke up to some nasty weather this morning. Power lines down, tree limbs, and lots of fender benders out there this morning. Greeted you folks on the Norwood Lateral and on 75. Well, right now it doesn't look too bad around Cincinnati. Maybe some showers coming in at you from the east, but otherwise not bad in Indianapolis. But as you head towards Detroit and Cleveland, it looks a little bit worse. And we're expecting Cleveland, it'll be rain for you, but off towards the north, expect the snow maybe mixed in with a little bit of sleet and freezing rain. Well, we have flash flood watches out for good reason. Flash flood warnings out for many areas tonight, meaning flooding already occurring here. So if you have to head out tonight, just be aware of that you might run across a roadway that has a lot of ponding water on it. You don't cross it. Farther north, and what about Boston? What's going to happen here? Well, we think you'll see a little bit of rain, maybe mixed in with a little bit of sleet, maybe a little bit of snow there, but not enough to accumulate to anything, which is some good news. Right now it's 34 in Boston. Farther inland, it's a little bit cooler. And that's where we're seeing the active weather tonight back farther west. So eventually that will get into Boston later on tonight, we think. But for you folks in the Poconos, even into the Catskills later on, we think snow for later on. 3 to 6 inches worth in some areas. And for Detroit, expect 3 to 6 inches. That's it for a look at the east. What's happening elsewhere in the country? Here's Warren.
Thanks very much, Kim. You know, spring officially began at about 2:55 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Friday. Temperatures, though, anything but spring-like in the central and southern plains. Let's check in on those temperatures across the nation. We started off with the departures from average. As you can see, where you see the blues and the pinks, that's where it was a little chillier today, or in some cases a lot chillier today, 20 degrees below where you typically see it this time of the year here across Arkansas into Mississippi, eastern Louisiana. Conversely, head into the northwest, 5 and even 10 degrees above where you typically see it, courtesy of a big high-pressure system. General circulation clockwise around it, bringing some milder air north on its western side, that cooler air down on the eastern side. High temperature only made it up to about, say, 50 degrees in Amarillo on Friday, made it up to 34 in St. Louis, 44 in Denver as we start melting the snow away. But then you come out to the farther to the west, 65 in Boise, 70 for a high in Portland, where you're now 58 degrees, 62 in Medford right now, still hanging on to 67 in Phoenix, but then you come across the Rockies and the temperatures do drop off, 29 at Denver and Grand Island right now, and checking in with about 28 degrees at Rapid City. More rain is on the way for the West Coast, though. You've had a chance to dry out a little bit, but here it comes the next batch, affecting mainly the northwest into Northern California during the afternoon on your Saturday, but not